Welcome back to the newsroom for Between the Ashes, the Growing Silence for Freespace 2 here on Paladin Gaming. We have a new news article and 2 new editorials. Regulus Kingpin apprehended in Adhara. Officials in Adhara executed a 4-year-old warrant for the arrest of Santana Harper, alleged to have held a commanding position in Regulus' drug trade before fleeing the system to avoid arrest. New evidence uncovered by the GTD Nereid in Polaris allowed Harper to be tracked to one of Adhara's orbitals, where she's been living under a falsified identity. The arrest was carried out by Adharan regulators while fighters from the GTD Malandroke interdicted local space. Admiral Ada Shirazi, the Alliance's military representative at Adhara, praised the arrest as an example of efficient cooperation. Adhara's culture makes it a common destination for people seeking a fresh start, which also makes it a common bolt hole for criminal elements. Admiral Shirazi also took the opportunity to repeat her previous pleas for more assets, describing the Alliance's policy towards her command as out of sight, out of mind, and unsustainable in the long term. Oh man, and a flag officer airing those kind of grievances in public is, ooh. Anyway, editorials, we got 2, a ship full of mystery. I'm aware, by way of Estelle's inbox, that there's some curiosity about why I'm publishing my investigation in real time. Well, I'm about to tell you, because the whole thing's propaganda. After my last article about Jacobson and Hoshi and Holly, I was contacted by someone I have never heard of otherwise. He's a freighter captain whose contracts might be a little bit blatantly illegal, and he wanted to tell me about one of them. Maybe it's relevant to my investigation, maybe it's not. Either way, it was interesting and it got me thinking. Captain Anonymous was chartered to take a something from Beta Aquila to Alpha Centauri by way of Sirius. That's not the normal way to make that trip, but it seemed easy enough and the pay was good. The first 2 jumps were normal, but when they entered Sirius, something seemed off. The Alliance patrols just buzzed them through, and the Syndicate patrols ignored them. Besides, on the way there, he'd started thinking about a heist at Gulnara Station 2 days ago. The pirates got their prize out of Antares through the Beta Aquila node, the same system where he'd picked up the contract. Carrying stolen Alliance property would get him way more than a smuggling rap, and getting through Sirius without someone causing trouble just doesn't happen. The whole op was starting to set his teeth on edge, so he peeked into the box. Here's what he found. I don't know what I was looking at. Part of a ship, maybe. It wasn't right. Some kind of mechanism at the center. Didn't look Vasudin, maybe ancient, maybe something else. I'm not a historian. The rest, red and black metal, if you can call it that. Unmistakable. Sheevan. Sheevan tech and that something else all twisted together. Don't know what it's for, don't want to. I'm not too proud to admit I dumped the container and jumped. This was 27th July, 2336, an hour before midnight Galactic Standard Time. A few hours later, an unregistered freighter entered Alpha Centauri from Sirius, chased by strike bombers, which the Alliance denies were theirs. Look up the footage if you haven't seen it. So, a shady someone tries to give a Sheevan something to mystery Vasudins, while customs look the other way, all on Regulus' doorstep. Is there a link? I don't know, but my gut says maybe. In the meantime, please keep writing in if you know, suspect, heard a rumor about, or have had weird dreams about anything you think I should know. Oh god. And finally, a collapsing conspiracy. Hey there, recent events have left me That's how you start an editorial. Recent events have left me wanting to know more about Holly, so I reached out to some Vasudin contacts. I ended up getting an interview with Professor Adhara, a Vasudin scholar of comparative religion with particular interest in Holly's mythology. I'm not sure how relevant this will end up being, but it was interesting, so here you go. At its core, Holly's ideology comes from a prophecy present in several religions originating in Vasudin's Great Silt Sea region. It concerns the coming of a destroyer without number, unusual pluralization per the original. Apparently it carries a sense of grandeur. While most religious-minded Vasudins took it as a warning, some esoteric clerics took it as a promise. They called themselves the Hammer of Light, and generations later their disciples took to the stars. That history shows us the seeds of a schism with Holly's forces, which Professor Adhara believes has already started. They had members drawn from diverse mystical traditions with generations of divergence history, heterodoxy, and even infighting. And more recent converts only complicate matters further. Part of the theological debate concerns the nature of the Sheevans, whether they're a mindless cosmic force like Earth's locust swarms, true gods, or something else entirely. Another concerns what will happen after a Sheevan victory. The mainstream belief is that those who help the Sheevans will be rewarded in some sort of afterlife, but a minority believe they will be spared and granted dominion over the material world. I wonder how the crew of the HLC Ramses would feel about this if the Sheevans had left any alive. The most interesting point of contention, however, concerns the relation between the Shivans and Holly itself. The disagreement goes back to a single word, which can be read as assist, commemorate, or embody, and is also used for theatrical understudies. I'm told this sort of thing is completely intuitive if you grew up with it. I'll trust the experts on that. Whether Holly is called to assist or embody the Shivans has deep theological implications and one very practical one. The traditional view calls for waiting for a second Shivan incursion, while the modern view holds that Holly should embody the Shivans and carry on their work in their absence. Chilling stuff, really. Apparently, Imperial theorists believe that Holly's attack on Antares was carried out by the second group, and their defeat weakened their position, explaining why there hasn't been another one since then. I guess that's good. If you'll forgive some wild speculation, I wonder if one of Holly's factions was after the Shivan tech I reported on last time to consolidate power. That's as good a lead as any, and I intend to see where following it takes me. If you mess too much with a hammer of light, it'll take you to a shallow grave. Anyway, this has been another installment of the newsroom for Freespace, for Freespace 2's Between the Ashes, The Growing Silence, here on Paladin Gaming. This is Paladin Gaming, signing off.